Welcome to the show, guys. We are talking about fantasy football running backs. In fact, we're talking about no committee running backs, workhorse running backs that you should be targeting in your draft, okay? There's only a handful of them. We're going to identify them here today in this episode and tell you why you should draft them. And there's other running backs that may seem like they're workhorse running backs, but watch out. There could be a pest behind them. So we're going to dive into that, guys. I'm going to tell you how many workhorse running backs there is with no committees, where you should draft them, full deep dive into fantasy football running backs, robust RB strategy, everything you need to know for fantasy football 2022 when it comes to those workhorse running backs. Who are they? Let's identify them here in this episode, all right? Before we get into this, guys, get that 16-round draft solution. I'm telling you guys, this is the game changer. The first ever and only video training, optimal players to draft in each round, sleepers, breakouts, everything you need to have the massive advantage over the competition. Use code TUBE20, that's TUBE 20. Save yourself 20%. Dive in right now. Solutions already available right now. Get it below here if you're on YouTube, or head on over to thefantasyfootballcounselor.com or simply Google 16-round draft solution. Guys, I'm telling you, this will put you light years ahead of the competition. It won't even be fair because I put everything I've got. I live and breathe fantasy football. I put everything I've got into this. You will be light years ahead of the competition. Dive into 16 rounds right now. Use code TUBE20. All right, let's get into this, guys. And again, smash thumbs up and let me know who you like this year a lot at the running back position. Are you targeting running backs early? Are you going robust RB? Or are you fading running backs and waiting a little bit later, okay? Now, there is some value and there is some sleepers at running back position. Make sure you guys are subscribed because I'm going to be running through all of those sleepers as well. Make sure you check out my previous videos as I talk about some rookie sleepers I like. So there is going to be some running backs in that video, so go back and check that out below. I've also linked it here below. You don't want to miss that, okay? All right, so let's dive into this. Who are the workhorse running backs? Who are these running backs with no committees? I've counted them, okay? There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 workhorse running backs with no committees. Now you're saying, well, Joe, Dalvin Cook, well, let's go over who those running backs are, the 7, because I've omitted people like Dalvin Cook, Zeke Elliot as well, Breece Hall, because they might have a committee. So we're not sure. The ones we're certain of that don't have committees are, here we go. Are you guys ready? Now, the first one here is Jonathan Taylor. Now, they just acquired Phillip Lindsay. So I know he's there for depth. They've got Nyheim Hines. Now they've got Phillip Lindsay. I know he's there for depth, but he could be a pest. But I'm just going to go bank on the fact that, Phillip Lindsay, that didn't happen. Okay, I thought Phillip Lindsay was out of the league. I didn't even know he was even playing. He's not that good. And some people would debate me, Joe, he's really good. He had that, 1,000-yard season or two, whatever. Listen, I don't care. Lindsay's not that good. He's not. So, Taylor, let's go over this, okay? The only workhorse running backs, in my opinion, are Taylor, Derrick Henry, right? Najee Harris, stick with me, Joe Mixon, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, and David Montgomery. That's it. Those are your only 7 workhorse. Now, based on ADP, Taylor, Henry, Najee, all coming off in the top 5, 6 picks. Joe Mixon also coming off in the first round. Saquon Barkley coming off in the second. So that's something to consider here, guys. You're looking at a guy like Saquon Barkley, 2 years removed off his injury, right? Contract year. Hungry, ready to go, improved O-line, no committee, and he's coming off. I see him as late as a late second, early third, which is phenomenal. The sheep are sleeping on, which is great. You get him. I'm getting him in second rounds everywhere. I don't care. I'm all in on Saquon Barkley. So you got Saquon Barkley, and then you got Christian McCaffrey, David Montgomery. Christian McCaffrey coming off top 5 picks as well. They're really somehow they're high on Christian McCaffrey when he's the exact same player as Saquon Barkley. They've both been hurt. CMC almost as bad because CMC actually played 10 games in the past 2 seasons. Actually, Saquon played more games last season, right? So it makes no sense to me why, CMC, who's already been paid, incentivized, all that fun stuff, is top 5 running back or top 3 or whatever they've got him at, and Saquon is chopped liver. It makes no sense. And then you got a guy like David Montgomery, who literally is in no committee whatsoever. They've got Khalil Herbert there, Darrington Evans. They've got nobody. So you got to understand that David Montgomery is primed, and he is value as well. He's coming off second, third round as well. He's value. So that's it. Those are your workhorse running backs. Ken, Taylor, Henry, Najee, Joe Mixon, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, David Montgomery. So we're doing a deep dive here. We're discussing this, okay? People may say, well, Joe, Dalvin Cook's a workhorse. You could say that, yes, but he's guaranteed to miss games, and Alexander Madison's always there because you can't draft Dalvin Cook without having a conversation about Madison. And if that's the case, I'm not considering a Dalvin Cook a workhorse guy because you always got to get Madison, which makes zero sense to me, completely, because I would rather get a Najee, a Henry, a Taylor, a Mixon, or someone else, and then get Madison later. Because, again, people don't like, I've been trying to say this for years. People are like, I'm going to get Dalvin Cook, I'm going to get Madison. Okay, yeah, but when Cook goes down, you got Madison. That's great, but now you've got only one RB1. Why not get a Najee Harris or someone like that who's going to stay on the field, most likely, knock on wood, right? Who because with Dalvin Cook, he's going to miss games. Like, it's obvious. So why draft Dalvin Cook knowing he's going to miss games when you can get a real RB1 who's not going to miss games, right? Theoretically, in theory, unless something catastrophic happens, he gets hurt. But, get a running back that's more reliable and then get Madison later. Now you've got two RB1s. So you don't got to worry about, so when Dalvin Cook goes down, you've got Madison. Now you've got two RB1s. You've got Madison and Najee. You got Madison and Henry. You don't just have Madison. Does that make sense? So a lot of people saying, well, Dalvin Cook's a workhorse, Joe. He's got no committee. He's got Madison. I don't care what you say. And he's going to miss games. So he's out for me. Next guy is Alvin Kamara. Now, there is this lingering suspension possibly happening with Alvin Kamara because obviously he had that issue in the offseason. It was an assault, alleged assault. I don't know. Either way, the guy got himself into some trouble, which was, really weird. Either way, they've got Tony Jones Jr., they've got Ingram, they've got other options there with the Saints. They got Jameis Winston, who I don't know what he's up to this year. Like, do I trust him? I kind of have to. They've got Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, they've got Jarvis Landry, they've got a ton of wide receivers to throw the ball to as well. I'm a little concerned. You could kind of put him in that category as a full true workhorse running back, but that lingering suspension, him always being a part of committee, and then always not getting the volume on the ground that you want, that's a concern to me. So when I talk about workhorse running backs, I like those guys that get that full workhorse volume, 250 plus attempts on the ground. Rushing yards on the ground and attempts is very important to me. And he's not a guy that gets it. So some people say, Alvin Kamara, right? I don't think he's a full true workhorse, right? Other guys here, Zeke Elliot, right? Full true workhorse running back. He was 3 years ago, but there's been a sudden regression, in his attempts. Although I think he's going to bounce back this year. Again, he's been going down, down, down. I think he kind of pops back up a little bit, gets a little more volume, and still finishes in the top 10. You could say he's kind of that workhorse, but Pollard has been down there, breathing down his neck, stealing away volume, and being a pest. There's just no way around it. You cannot deny Tony Pollard does get that work. So Zeke Elliott has come off the chart for workhorses. Now, Austin Eckler, a lot of people drafting him top 5, top 6, top 7, right? In PPR. The deal with Austin Eckler, again, similar to Kamara, is he is a receiving type back who had overinflated numbers last year. What do you have? Like 10 or 12 rushing touchdowns. He had like 8 receiving touchdowns. Overinflated numbers last year. Doesn't get it done on the ground as well. Because of the inflation in touchdowns last year, that's a bit of a concern. Not to mention they got Isaiah Spiller now. Now, Isaiah Spiller is a guy, he's a violent runner, and I think he's going to get his fair share of workload. Now, the Chargers never had a guy as good as Spiller, potentially. Like Kelly wasn't there. Larry Roundtree was not the guy that got it done. But Spiller could be. So I think they're looking for that workhorse running back, that 3-down back, the guy that get the goal line work. Eckler, I don't believe, is it, right? So you can debate me on this one, and you can make an argument that Eckler is a guy with no committee. But there's a reason they drafted Spiller. And I think Spiller is going to get some work this year. If he shows in training camp he is as violent runner as people say he is, and he's a good runner, I think Spiller gets it done. Okay, now he's no Breece Hall or anything, but there was an opportunity for Spiller to eat. Okay, so when you are drafting, I talk about robust RB strategy, right? You want to target one of the 7 guys that I said, or 2 of those 7 guys, right? Henry, Harris, Taylor, Mixon. Mixon, I'm still a little torn on because he had one real good year out of all the years he's played. So, I don't feel warm and fuzzy with Mixon. He's had his share of injuries as well. But the offense is really good, right? They've got Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, young, dynamic, exciting, Higgins. It's exciting. So mix in, later first round, but I still want to combo him with somebody. Now, again, there's other guys that could be workhorses, right? Guys like Javonte Williams, but Melvin Gordon's there, so I can't really put him in that category, right? Breece Hall, but Michael Carter's there, right? James Conner, Benjamin, James Conner's just not that good, but you could maybe say James Conner. Swift has Williams, and Jones has A.J. Dillon. Aaron Jones has A.J. Dillon, right? Jacobs has Drake. They drafted White as well, rookie Zamir White. So many committees, guys, okay? The focal point of this video, guys, is to make sure that you try to lock in those running backs with no committees. So, again, those 7, try to get one in the first round, right? Your Taylor Henry, your Najee Harris, your Joe Mixon, and then secure Saquon Barkley. Now, Christian McCaffrey, again, just because, I'm saying he's got no committee doesn't mean I'm going to draft him. So Mixon and CMC, I'm a little suspect about because, again, Christian McCaffrey, I'd rather get Saquon Barkley in the second round than get a Christian McCaffrey with my first pick, although Christian McCaffrey could be due for a bounce back. So, again, the focal point of this video is to make sure that you know and identify who the workhorse running backs are and who the committees are. So let's recap. Let's talk about this, okay? Taylor, he's got Phillip Lindsay, could be a pest and look for a natural regression. Derrick Henry, this guy's putting up top 10 numbers, only playing 8 games. He's putting up top 10 touchdown and rushing attempts numbers. He played 8 games last year. He's a workhorse. No one's touching him. Najee Harris, he was on the field 95% of the snaps. This guy's getting the volume, right? Benny Snell, not an issue. Okay, Joe Mixon, no one's there to touch him. Saquon Barkley, like the Valley round 2. Who does he got? Breida behind him? I'm not even concerned. Now you're saying, well, Joe, Booker got the volume last year. Yeah, the only reason Booker got the volume is because they were preserving Saquon Barkley for this year, and they knew they weren't going to make the playoffs. So they, had Saquon Barkley. Christian McCaffrey's got no one there as well. So when I look at a guy like Christian McCaffrey, yes, he's in primed position, but they've got Chuba Hubbard. They've got Deontay Foreman there. But again, prime position, I just don't trust the offense. I don't trust Darnold. I don't trust the quarterback situation. Is it going to be Matt Carroll who's going to get the start, Corral or whatever his name is? It's suspect. Okay, Zeke Elliott, again, Pollard's there. Breece Hall, I think Breece Hall could run away with this job. The volume's got to be there. The problem with him is, Michael Carter was the one there last year, and he only had 147 targets. So Breece Hall is a guy that could be a workhorse, explosive, upside, and, and then you've got David Montgomery, who I think is going to explode this year without Nagy being there. So, again, guys, go robust RB. Load up on running backs early. Now you know who they are. They are. And you got to look for the value as well. Christian McCaffrey, not spending a top 3 pick on him with those injuries. Even though he's a workhorse, I'd rather get Saquon later, right? Breece Hall, I like him, could be explosive, but Michael Carter's there, right? Austin Eckler, look out for Spiller. Now you know, right? Now you know. Look at A.J. Dillon, right? Look at the volume last year. He actually had more attempts than Aaron Jones. Be cautious about that, but understand Devontae Adams is gone, so maybe Jones is used a little bit more in the passing game. They might rely on him more, right? Because Devontae Adams is good, and we've seen Jones thrive with Adams being gone. So maybe Jones is actually inflated this year and does better, or he could regress because Dillon is emerging. So you got to take all this under consideration when you are drafting the running back, but the point of the matter is, and the main thing I want you to get out of this video is it's very scarce to have running backs with no committees, and you want to secure as many of them as possible. All right? A very simple message here, guys. All right? So deep dive here into committees. Now you know who they are. I'll load up on them early. Tons of depth at wide receiver, tons of depth at quarterback. You can wait, and everything is laid out for you guys in the 16-round draft. So you should make sure you guys get the solution. Use code TUBE20, save yourself 20%, and dive in there. Now, subscribe, guys, because I'm telling you, there is a ton of videos where I'm deep diving more into the sleepers at running back position. You want to know who those late-round sleepers are as well in case you miss out on these running backs. So, again, go check out that video on rookie sleepers that I like. And there's just so many other videos and content I'm going to be producing to tie into all of this running back talk, including running back rankings, everything you guys need here for running backs, wide receivers, and to dominate fantasy football, okay? Subscribe, comment below, let me know which running back committee you like or don't like, or which running backs you'll be trying to target this year. Love to get your feedback in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. Fantasy football is almost here. I'm out.